Chapter 14. The shelves of the toy store were stocked from top to bottom with the most incredible toys and games the Smurfs had ever seen. Stargazer, 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 Smurfette chanted to herself as she worked her way through the crowded aisles. She passed under a display of colorful stuffed zebras and elephants. Higher up on the same shelves, she noticed a different fluffy animal that looked like a horse. Unlike a regular horse, this one had a golden horn on the top of its head. So that's where all the unicorns went, she whispered, amazed. Why don't you run? She asked the animals. Have you forgotten how to be free? Having never seen a toy store before, Smurfette didn't realize the stuffed animals weren't real. Meanwhile, Papa and Brainy were searching for a precious stargazer in another part of the store. When they arrived at the bottom of the escalator, Brainy's eye widened in fear. They didn't have escalators in Smurf Village. I'm not afraid to go off on my own, he said, trying his best to sound brave. I just thought you might like the company. Fine then. Hang on, Papa assured him, grabbing hold of the handrail and jumping aboard. Gutsy was also headed to the second floor, only he discovered another way to travel. Oh, Smurf cannon are the only way to fly. He climbed into a toy cannon and prepared himself for blast-off. Perfect! Time to catch some air! Gutsy went flying through the air, high above the second-story railing. Smurfabunga! He screamed at the top of his little blue lungs. Grace, who was nervously looking all over the store for any sign of the Smurfs, noticed the streak of blue propelling its way to the second level immediately. She started to run toward it. With a smooth dive roll, Gutsy landed safely in an area filled with action figures and related toys. There he began his search for a stargazer. Below him, still on the first floor, Grouchy was making his way up on a high ledge. Well, there's gotta be a stargazer up here somewhere. Suddenly, a nearby animatronic owl batted its wings. Ah! Predator! Grouchy stumbled backward and fell, very nearly crashing to the floor. But instead, he landed on the paddle of a young girl playing paddleball with her friend. She swatted Grouchy like a bouncy ball, straight into the candy department where he plopped down in a vat of blue candy. Ah! Grouchy popped up out of the vat as fast as he could, his mouth full of blue candy. Ugh, Smurf droppings! He cried, thinking they were gross. But then Grouchy realized that the blue bits were candy, full of chocolatey sweetness. These are disgustingly tasty, he declared, chewing happily. Peering over the edge of the barrel, Grouchy spotted a doll, which he thought was real. Trying to be smooth, he sidled up next to her. Well, hello there. Clumsy, who had spotted Papa and Brainy on the up escalator from afar, was desperately trying to reach them. I'm coming! I'm coming! He shouted, but no one heard his call. Unfortunately, he was trying to climb up the down escalator, which he had jumped on by mistake, and was getting nowhere. I'm coming, guys! Whoa! On the up escalator, Papa and Brainy were rapidly approaching the second floor. Brainy was in awe of the machinery. What a fascinating device, he exclaimed. Pulleys and gears and... In a flash, Brainy tumbled off the handrail and Papa gently slid down to the floor. Picking themselves up, they headed to the rear of the store. Papa, I'm telling you, we're never gonna find those stargazers, Papa exclaimed, spotting the telescopes up on a tall shelf. Brainy calculated the distance from the floor to the stargazers. They're dangerously high, he reported. You're right, Papa nodded. We're going to need something tall. As Papa and Brainy plotted the stargazer retrieval, Grace finally arrived on the second floor. She began to search for the Smurfs. failing to notice the giant teddy bear being wheeled in a cart by Papa and Brainy that was gliding along smoothly behind her, making its way toward the telescope display. "Don't you think someone will notice us?" Brainy asked Papa. Papa wasn't concerned. "Just act natural." "Grrr, I'm a bear," Brainy said. Papa laughed. "Brainy." Unaware that Brainy and Papa had found the stargazers, Grouchy was relaxing in the arms of his new friend. Little did he know, she was just a doll, placed there to advertise the delicious candy he had inhaled earlier. He leaned back and took a long, fake sip from a candy soda bottle. "I'm just tired of the whole dating game. Just say who you are and be who you say." The doll didn't reply, but she did smile. In fact, she was always smiling at Grouchy. He liked that. Meanwhile, Clumsy was still stuck on the down escalator trying to make his way up. "Still coming, guys? Oh, hold still, stairs!" A little girl took notice of him and couldn't contain her excitement. "Whoa, look at the stair-climbing toy," she remarked to her parents. "Careful," they warned as the girl reached to grab Clumsy. The second he felt her cold fingers close tightly around his waist, Clumsy knew he was in trouble. He tried to stay as still as he could. Suddenly, another girl noticed the Smurf. "I want one too, Mommy." In another part of the store, Smurfette discovered an eerie display of disembodied doll heads. The bodiless heads frightened her. "Creepy," she said, her breath shaky. "I hope they weren't looking for a stargazer too." She turned around and rushed away from there, repeating her earlier chant, "Stargazer, stargazer, stargazer," for luck. Her fear faded as she came upon something wonderful. A room full of clothes, just Smurfette's size. "Dresses!" she exclaimed, overwhelmed with enthusiasm. "You mean I can have more than one kind of dress? What?" She would have to take a short break from searching for the stargazer to explore this grand discovery. Over at the cash register, the little girl presented Clumsy to the sales clerk. The frazzled employee tried to scan Clumsy, hoping that a price would appear, while parents and kids gathered around the desk begging for similar toys. Every time that laser zapped Clumsy on the forehead, his poor little eyes crossed. It was giving him a headache. "I want one of those blue animatronic things," one parent insisted. "I'll take 3. Another called out, waving a credit card. "Do they come in pink?" someone else asked. "My daughter wants pink." The saleswoman couldn't figure out why the scanner wasn't working. "What aisle was this in?" she asked again. "I'll take the floor model," another voice called out from the back of the group. "Not if I get it first," someone shouted back. Before long, there was a riot at the checkout stand. "There's a line," an angry customer warned. Everyone wanted to own a clumsy Smurf. Patrick, who had finally arrived outside the toy store, skirted past a gardener blowing leaves and rushed inside to look for Grace. He ignored the commotion at the checkout counter and began his search. Unfortunately, he had no idea that he had led Gargamel and Azrael right to the Smurfs. "Smurf thief, stop!" Gargamel shouted, still outside. Then the wizard spotted steam billowing out of a subway grate and turned around to walk dramatically through it. As he turned, Gargamel saw what Patrick had missed. Propped up in the store's window display, Grouchy, who was on a serious sugar high by now, was lounging in the arms of his new girlfriend doll. "Do I use my grouchiness as a wall because I'm afraid to be vulnerable?" he asked her. "You bet, but I've got feelings. The other day I was reading Eat Smurf Love, and He went on, without realizing that danger was lurking just outside the window. Outside, Gargamel opened his ring, ready to use Smurfette's magical essence to capture Grouchy. But the ring was empty. "Oh, I can't be out already. What was I thinking? Wasting my only drop of Smurf essence on that stupid hag." "Meow," Azrael suggested. Gargamel followed the cat's gaze and discovered the man with the leaf blower working outside. An idea began to take shape. With all the mayhem at the cashier counter, Clumsy managed to escape the gaggle of kids and parents who were shouting for him. "Keep your Smurfs to yourself! Don't you people have any boundaries?" he shouted as he ran for cover, dashing right in front of Patrick's feet. A crowd of kids and parents followed Clumsy, knocking Patrick to the floor in their rush to capture the blue toy. Over in the doll aisle, Smurfette had also been spotted while trying on a bunch of dresses. Smurfette thought the kids were after the dresses, not her. "Hey, this dress is mine!" she cried out. Luckily, Grace appeared and scooped Smurfette up in the nick of time. "Smurfette!" Grace called out, relieved, and tucked Smurfette into her purse and out of sight. "Wait, I'm shopping!" Smurfette replied, popping her head up and pointing at all the clothing. She wanted to try on the rest. After all, she'd never been surrounded by so many different outfits in her life. "Let's shop later," Grace said. It was time to escape. Meanwhile, Patrick was searching the floor for Clumsy. He'd just seen him by the cash register. Where could he have gone? "Clumsy!" he shouted, looking around frantically. "Patrick! Patrick, help!" Clumsy came out from behind a display. "Clumsy, come here!" Patrick scooped him up and held the Smurf high out of a little girl's reach. "A giant's after me," Clumsy said, frightened. He pointed at the girl. "She's huge!" "Hey, that's mine," the girl told Patrick. "I'm sorry, little girl," Patrick told her, "but this one's not for sale." The sweet-looking girl kicked Patrick in the shin. "Ow!" Patrick shot back, hopping around in pain. "Mommy!" The girl screamed so loud it echoed through the store. Scared, not only for Clumsy but for his own safety as well, Patrick quickly tucked Clumsy inside his jacket and hobbled away. At the customer service counter, more and more people had gathered to demand little blue dolls. Grouchy, safe for the moment, was still in the window chatting with his green stuffed girlfriend. "Don't ever forget that for one magical moment, our two worlds met. And I wasn't grouchy. I wasn't." He stopped and looked at her. "Can you just say one thing? Please, I'm dying here." That's when he heard the noise. Loud and scary and way too close. Vroom! Gargamel had entered the toy store carrying the gardener's leaf blower on his back. The wizard held the blower tube high and changed the setting from blow to vacuum. Directing the vacuum tube down, Gargamel approached the candy window. Grouchy was the first Smurf to be sucked into Gargamel's new Smurf catching machine. "That's one!" Gargamel cheered. He began to walk through the store searching for the others.